All right, the final episode. We're going to be doing the Functional-2 section today, and it has a nice 9 problems here. So, you're welcome to read this um, site here if you'd like to. This page here, you can just click on this link. You're welcome to read that if you want to. I'm going to talk about this method though, this remove if method in just a second though. So, the first problem says, given a list of integers, return a list of the integers, omitting any that are less than 0. So basically, what we want to do is we want to filter out all of the elements that are less than 0. So in other words, we want to remove all the elements, remove any element if it is less than 0. Okay, so the list interface, list is actually an interface, um, which is not exactly relevant to what we're doing here, but in the list interface, there is a method called remove if that we're going to be taking advantage of here. So it is, oh, it's actually in the collection interface, my bad. And so that means any collection can use this interface. And so the remove if method, it returns a Boolean, but we don't need to worry about the return type of the method. We're not going to be using it. But the remove if method, basically, before I go into the details, what it's going to do is you're going to pass an object. That object is going to represent a certain condition. And what the remove if method is going to do is it's going to remove every element from the collection that satisfies the condition. So if it satisfies the condition, it's going to get removed. So the parameter of the remove if method is a predicate. So, and this predicate, don't worry about this question mark super business, but just know that this predicate is going to operate on elements that are the same as the type of this list, of course, because those are the elements we want to, check to see if we should remove them. So a predicate here is a functional interface, and it has one non-default, non-static method. So it does qualify as a functional interface. And so this method is called test. We don't really need to worry about the name of the method, but we do need to look at its signature, which is just like its parameters and its return type. So the test method, it returns a Boolean, and it takes an object of any reference type. And so you can imagine how this might be useful to represent a condition, because a condition, operates on some object and determines a true or false value, whether that object meets the condition. So, of course, it operates on an object and it returns a true or false value, also known as a Boolean. So, this is the method we're going to be using here in order to create a predicate, and we'll pass that predicate to the remove if method. So going back here, the predicate we want to create is we want to create a predicate that takes an integer and returns true if that integer is less than 0, because our predicate should return true if we want to remove something. So I'm going to make a predicate here, and so I'll say predicate on integers. My predicate, I'll just call it p, and basically it's going to take an integer x, and it's going to have to return a Boolean value. So x less than 0 is a Boolean value here. So yeah, so that is how we could do this predicate here, how we can make a predicate. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do nums.remove if, and then I just pass my predicate here. And then I return nums. Now I think this isn't going to work because I need to actually type out the full name of predicate, because once again, I don't know why the functional section would not automatically import predicate for you as a crucial class or a crucial interface for doing this stuff. But alas, CodingBat does not, so we have to put the full name of the class, which is java.util.function.predicate. And now it will work. And of course, we could elide the variable, and we could put it just right here. We could just put in the lambda expression there. And so now this lambda expression creates a predicate, and that predicate is passed to the remove if method. And so any elements that satisfy this predicate get removed. And that is how we could do this one. An alternate solution using streams would be something like this. So streams have a method called filter. And filter will basically keep any methods that satisfy the given predicate. Notice that this is the inverse of remove if. Remove if removes elements that satisfy the condition. Filter keeps only the elements that satisfy the condition. So what I want to do is I want to filter elements and only keep the elements that satisfy the condition x is greater than or equal to 0, because that's the opposite of x is less than 0. And then I just need to collect it back to a list, just like that. So that is an alternate way of doing it. Alright, given a list of non-negative integers, return a list of those numbers except omitting any that end with 9. Pause and try this. Alright, we want to omit any that end with 9, so we want to remove any elements if they end with 9. So if x remainder 10 is 9, and then just return nums here. Okay, and then given a list of integers, return a list of those numbers, omitting any that are between 13 and 19 inclusive. So pause and try this one. I don't know if I said that on the last problem, but pause and try this one. All right, let's do it. So nums dot remove if this number is between 13 and 19. So 13 less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to 19. So I remove those elements, and then I return nums here. Okay. Given a list of strings, return a list of the strings, omitting any string that contains a z. Pause and try this one. Alright, so omitting any that contain a z. So strings.remove if it contains a z, and return strings. Alright, that's how we could do that one. Given a list of strings, return a list of strings, omitting any string length 4 or more. Pause and try this one. Okay, so I'm going to do strings.remove if the length of the string is 4 or more, and then just return strings here. Pretty straightforward, pretty, simple problems once you understand the lambdas and the remove if method. Alright, return the list of strings, omitting any string length 3 or 4. Pause and try this one. Okay, so basically I'm just going to remove any elements if they satisfy the condition length is equal to 3 or length is equal to 4. And I'm going to return, strings. And there we go. Return a list where each string has y added at its front, omitting any resulting strings that contain YY as a substring anywhere. So this we're going to need a couple steps here. So pause and try this one. Alright, so each string has a y added at its end. I'm going to do that step first. I'm going to say strings.replace all with the function of adding y at its end. And it says omit any resulting strings that contain a YY substring anywhere. So I'm going to say remove if s contains YY. And now I can return strings. This is just a two-step kind of problem here. If you wanted to do this using streams, you could do as follows. You could say strings.stream.filter, first .map s to s plus y, and then .filter s to, let me go on to the next line here, .filter s to s does not contain YY, and then collect it back into a list like that. So that's another way to do it. Alright, given a list of non-negative integers, return a list of those numbers multiplied by 2, omitting any resulting numbers that end in 2. Pause and try this one. Alright, so let's go ahead and do it. So it says multiply by 2 first, so x times 2, not times x times 2. And then omitting any of the resulting numbers that end in 2. So remove if x ends in 2. So, x remainder 10 equals 2. It'll tell me. And I know the integers are non-negative, so I don't need to worry about negative signs with the mod stuff here. And then I just need to return nums. And there you go. All right, last one of the series, last problem of the series. Given a list of integers, return a list of those numbers squared and the product added to 10, omitting any of the resulting numbers that end in a 5 or a 6. Pause and try this one. All right, so let's do it. So it's squared and the product added to 10, so replace x with x squared plus 10, and then remove any resulting numbers that end in 5 or end in 6. Okay, and yeah, we can go ahead and return nums. And that'll do that one. All right, so that is CodingBat. That is all there is on the site. Well, in Java, there's also Python. Um, but yeah, that's CodingBat. It's been a fun time. I had fun making this series, and I really hope you learned something from it. Um, yeah, that's really all. That's really all I have to say. I'll have to find something else to do with my time now because I've been devoting a lot of time every day for the past week, um, doing these videos and making these and solving these problems here. Um, but that is all I have to say. I will not see you next time because this is the end. Goodbye.